So it's officially been about 4 days since Lightfall came out. In that time, we haven't had all of the fragments unlocked until yesterday. As of yesterday, Bungie released a tweet saying that later that same day they would be releasing the rest of the fragments for Strand. And with the release of these fragments, I feel this made the Warlock Strand way stronger than it initially was on launch. I know many other Warlocks were probably left with a sour taste in their mouth with how bad Strand was on launch. With that being said, I want to give you guys my build that I believe is the strongest build I've been able to come up with so far. Now, before we get into the video, I wanted to take a quick second to self-promote my Twitch, as I will be streaming the raid race on Twitch on March 10th. The stream I will be starting at 8:30 PST. This will be a half hour before the raid launches. It'd be greatly appreciated if you can go follow my Twitch. Thank you. Alright, with all that being said, this build is going to be using the Eye of Another World exotic helmet, as what this exotic does is that it highlights priority targets. Along with that, it also gives you increased regen on your grenade, melee, and rift. According to light.gg, this is going to be a 50% decrease in time it takes you to get your grenade, rift, and melee back, making this one of the strongest warlock exotics for ability uptime. Now that we have our exotic, let's get straight into our subclass. Now please note, this is not a build that be used inside of contest mode and or GMs, but can be heavily modified in order to support that playstyle. With that being said, the grenade we're going to be using is the Grapple grenade, as this is just the most fun. Along with that, you also have the melee combo with it. We will also be using armor mods to make this Grapple basically never have a cooldown. Now going over to our aspects, we have Weaver's Call. What this does is if you have your rift and you place it down, it'll spawn 3 threadlings on your rift. Next up, we have Mind Spun Invocation, as what this does is when your grappling hook melee combo, it'll spawn 3 threadlings on that melee combo hit. Now, if you wanted to modify this build a little bit for GMs, instead of running grappling, I would either run Shackle Grenade, as this will suspend enemies, making it so you can stun unstoppable champions, or if you don't have to deal with unstoppables, I would just use Threadling Grenades, as they can just go around fighting other combatants. Now, if you use either of those grenades, you will have to change your armor mods a bit in order to support that playstyle. Along with that, the type of mods we are going to be using for this build is going to be instant use instead of armor decay mods. Next up, we're going to be going into the fragments. Starting out, we're going to be having Thread of Ascent. As what Thread of Ascent does is it basically gives you increased handling and airborne effectiveness, but the most important part of this is going to be the fact that it reloads your equipped weapon, which is going to synergize very well with how much you'll be grappling with this build. Next up, we have Thread of Warding, as what this fragment does is that it gives you Woven Mail a damage reduction whenever you pick up an orb. And as seeing that we're in an orb creating meta, this is going to be one of the best fragments you could be running for Strand. Next up, we have Thread of Evolution. And what this fragment does is that it increases your effectiveness of your threadlings, as what it does is it makes them travel further and deal additional damage. And seeing as almost every one of our abilities will create a threadling, this is going to be amazing for this build. This will also increase the damage of our super, as after it casts all our little things that we shoot out, it'll create little threadlings on those spots. And for my testing, it can increase your super damage anywhere from 60,000 to 80,000 damage. And lastly, for our 4th fragment, we're going to be having Thread of Generation. As what this fragment does is the more damage you deal, the faster you'll get back your grenade, almost acting like a mini Starfire in a fragment. Alright, with our fragment and aspects all gone over, let's get into our armor and our armor mods. Now, I will say all my armor is Artifice armor, and that is just because I like the extra stat bonus that you get from the new Artifice armor mod update. Now, before we get into this section, one thing about the grappling hook is that the grapple hook kill combo counts for both a grenade kill and a melee kill. Knowing this, we'll be taking full advantage of both of these things. Alright, now let's first off start out with our helmet. Now, my helmet has 2 Ashes to Assets and a kinetic siphon, but the siphon doesn't really matter. You can put this as anything. So for example, if you really just wanted to run Powerful Friends, if you're in a fire team, you can do that. And realistically, the Ashes to Assets isn't really too necessary either. So if you wanted to swap these out for anything too, like ammo finders or scouts, that would work too. Helmet is not going to be too important for what you put on it. Now, as we move down to our arms, these are going to be much more important on what you put on them. As for this, you'll want to have a Grenade Kickstart, Firepower, and the Heavy-Handed perk. Now, I do recommend running the Artifact mod that lets it so your grenade mods will cost less, as this will make your Firepower and Grenade Kickstart cost 1 energy instead of the original 3, allowing you to also use something like a Resilience mod. Now, the reason we are using a Heavy-Handed and a Firepower mod is because the grapple combo will both trigger heavy-handed and firepower, thus creating 2 orbs after every kill, which will then feed into your other arm mod going to be Grenade Kickstart. So you get 2 orbs, which gives you 2 armor charges, so you can put that into your Grenade Kickstart for your next grenade. Now moving down to our chest piece, we are going to be using Charged Up for an extra armor charge slot. And then for the other 2 columns, you can use whatever you want. I am personally using Concussive Dampener along with Solar Resist, but you can really run anything here. Now, the reason why I like Charged Up is because it gives us an extra slot for a armor charge, which pairs very well with the next perk on our boots, going to be Stacks on Stacks. And what this does is each time you pick up an Orb of Power, you grant 1 additional armor charge. So from that 2 orbs that we are making from our melee grapple combo, we will be getting 4 stacks of armor charge. The reason for this is because initially without Stacks on Stacks, you will get 1 armor charge from each orb. So there's 2 orbs, you'll getting 2 armor charges. Now with Stacks on Stacks, it'll double it because we are getting 2 orbs, which will give us 4. This is also why I don't recommend running more than 1 charged up on your armor piece, as since we are doing the combo over and over again, it'll be very rare for you to go over 4 armor charges, so don't even bother with putting more charged up on your chest piece. Now with Stacks on Stacks being on our legs, another thing you'll want to run, at least one of, is going to be the Innervation mod. As what this mod does is every time you pick up an Orb of Power, it'll reduce your grenade cooldown, which reduces our cooldown for our grappling hook even further. Now, you do not want to run Surge mods, as it'll ruin your armor charge, as it'll start decaying over time. But in that 3rd slot for your legs, you can run whatever, so if you want to run something like a Arc Scavenger, that is completely fine. Lastly, for our bond, I recommend running at least 2 bombers, but if you want to go with something like 2 bombers and a distribution, that is completely fine. Nothing on your bomb besides the bomber mods are going to be too vital. Now, the way the gameplay loop is set up for this is you're going to be getting a kill with your grappling hook to spawn 2 orbs from your arms, going to be firepower and heavy-handed. Once you pick up those 2 orbs, you'll get 4 stacks of armor charge because of your Stacks on Stacks mod, and you're charged up. Along with that, your Innervation mod on your boots will be giving you grenade energy on an Orb of Power pickup, allowing you to get your grenade back extremely fast. And if you don't have your grenade back instantly, you'll be able to pop your Rift, and because of your 2 bomber mods that you have on your bond, you'll probably get your grenade back from that. Because of your armor charge, the next time you'll do the combo, your grenade kickstart will kick in, giving you your grenade back extremely fast, which then allows you to rinse and repeat this combo of grappling combo into some adds, picking up the orbs that you made, and then repeating with your next grapple. Now, like I said earlier, if you are doing harder content like GMs or contest mode, and you're not going to be using the grappling hook, you will have to change certain aspects of this build. For example, instead of running a heavy-handed on your bond, you might want to just run 2 firepowers, or if you're not even getting grenades with your kills, you can change them out for something else entirely. Now, you should get a good example of how to use this build in the gameplay that I've been showing throughout this video. So, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, comment, sub. That would be greatly appreciated. Along with that, please go check out my Twitch. Thank you for watching the video. Bye.